Howdy tubers, welcome back to the Zach Life Machine Shop. I want to try to get this old power hacksaw to run. I've got some power hooked up to it. I pulled the belt guard off of it, rolled the belt off, and the motor runs. You got to have this switch on, and this does something. I'm not exactly sure what this lever does yet, but I'm totally green. I hadn't done anything with this. It will sort of roll, but it's really stiff. Let's figure this out together. It's got oil cut. I'd like to know, tell you what, see if we can find some information on this. This thing looks really old. I don't know if it's like super old, but you know, I'll get some information off of it. I just realized it's got a patent date here, patent May 1st, 1912. Surely it's not nearly that old. It looks very old. I don't know. I would bet that this thing is probably around Second World War. I'm gonna do some more research though. It's got a name here. ULIVR. Just need a little bit of Emery. Oliver H. Van Horn Company, Inc. Houston, Fort Worth, New Orleans, Shreveport. I bet that's the person that sold it. All right, so this is like a week later, but I have done some research and I believe that I have dated this motor to 46 through some serial numbers and some research. So anyway, I bet this thing is probably a 46 model. It's got these little lubricator cups all over it though. These are not lubricator cups, they're wicks. These are actual lubricator cups here. And it had 4 up here. These are all broke, and I was thinking probably just screw these out. Maybe I can just pump some oil down in it. This does seem to move, but it's really, really stiff. The actual saw part seems to be, so it's got, what is this back here? It's got like a transmission back here. I wonder if this shifts gears. I bet it does. Okay, so I just realized, so obviously the motor turns via a belt, turns this sheave. I thought this turned this gear. See, you can see a gear teeth in here that actually drives a crank and everything. But there's actually, this is the input to a transmission back here, and the output of that transmission turns a gear, which turns this gear. So I assume that this is probably supposed to change gears or change speeds or ratios or something. I really have a feeling that this thing hasn't operated in a long, long time. It's not been out in the weather, other than it was for a couple of weeks, but it's sitting inside of a shop its whole life, and it's got all this dirt on it that's just so thick. I think I'm going to not mess with the transmission because it is in quote-unquote a gear, and maybe if we get some oil in it and lube it up, it might make it easier to shift, and that sounds like something that might be easy to break. As far as a saw goes, that mechanism looks pretty simple. We've got a crank here that's driven by that gear and the transmission and all, and it's got a rod that comes forward and moves this back and forth. And I assume this rod's on a slide here. I can probably oil this up. This did move. I could turn it by hand. I didn't want to just put the belt on it and turn it on. I'm afraid it would break something. See, that does move. I'm really not clear about all of this mechanism here though, and what the heck all this stuff is. Oh, okay, hold on. I hadn't figured this out, so to speak, but I'm still trying to figure this out because I don't want to just be mumbling around. So I just realized there's a lever here, and well, look, I didn't even realize it's got coolant. Huh? I wonder if that's all water. Yeah, that's water. Man, it's been really cold too. I hope it didn't freeze and bust anything. Well, I got to clean that out, but that's very doable. I guess it's obvious it's got coolant, it's got lines and stuff. But it's got the lever over there, and somehow or another that, when you pull up on that, it compresses that spring, and this spring comes up and pushes up on this fulcrum, this arm right here, and it looks like it's an eccentric or cam lobe. And I figured out what this is doing. I don't know exactly how yet, but I guess probably when the saw comes back, it picks up on the saw. And so all of this stuff here must move just a little bit. So I don't see anything that's going to be super fragile here. I think what I want to do is just start lubricating this thing and put the belt on it and just see if we can make it move. Maybe if we get it all greased up and lubed up and everything moving, it'll be a little bit more obvious how this mechanism works. I wish all these oilers were still here together, but truthfully, this is not going to probably have a whole lot of runtime on it, and I can just oil it up, you know, every 10 minutes of operation or 30 minutes or whatever, and probably be all right. I've got an oil can here. This has got 90 weight in it. This thing's got little lube points everywhere. I know the light's not the best over here. I think I got everything down in there. I seem to be able to roll this thing through. It's actually gotten much freer just in the very little bit I've turned it. I've lost the belt here. We'll put the belt back on it and see what breaks. Well, that was amazingly uneventful. So this switch is on, and somehow this lever here must kick up or down or something when it finishes cutting, because this turns it off. Okay, so it's got this lever right here, and it's got this stop on it. And this carriage, when this thing finishes cutting, it pushes down on this. Is just sort of off camera, you can't see. And so how this works is pretty ingenious. This turns this thing on. You pull this forward, click, and it turns on. And this latches via this rod. And when this rod gets pushed down, it turns off. Now there's a switch down here, and this is actually what turns the machine off when it finishes cutting. Now this also releases this ratchet thing. And on this block here on the back side of it, there's a bunch of little bitty teeth. Now what this does is when you kick this in gear, if you look right here, there's a little jaw. When you kick this on, it kicks that in, and this keeps you from being able to lift the carriage up. It sort of puts a load on it, if you would, tightens it down. Then it's got these pieces here, and these are still just slightly froze up. And this is what bumps up and down, and I guess what these do, and I'm not 100% sure, they're supposed to be spring loaded, and they're not quite springy yet. They need a little bit more goo on them. I guess they ratchet down, they push down on this thing and maybe release it when it comes back up. I don't know. I'm gonna get this all freed up. We'll put some in here and try to cut it, and watch it. So I kind of vacuumed and scraped around on this thing. I'm not going to call it clean, but I got it cleaner. And I got this where the oil goes down here a little bit better. I figured this out. It's kind of a weird deal. It pumps the oil up through here, and it runs through here and through a little slot down there around this trough, and then it's got to get up to this, and that's actually where it spills and runs through the trough back into the bottom. And I mean, obviously that's designed to keep all the cuttings in here and not go into the bottom, but it's going to hold a lot of stuff. I guess this probably, I don't know, I would have thought this would have originally had oil in it. You could probably run water-based coolant, but I got some Rotella. I'm going to dump some oil in the bottom here and see if I can get it to pump. So I got this handle down here freed up, and what this handle does is it pushes up on a spring. It collapses a spring and puts more force on this going up. And you can see the springs right back there. And so that pushes down when this thing strokes back. It pushes down harder. The more you pull up on that, the more load it puts on it. See if this will cut something. change gears. I may hammer on that in a minute. I need to check the oil in that too. It may not have any oil in it. This is cut right away. Well, it's getting close. It has pumped all the oil from the bottom up here to the top and has sort of ran out. It's got this stupid little return feed thing over here, and it must be plugged up. There's not a very good way to clean it. It is slowly dripping. It is slowly dripping in there. But I'm going to let it sit tonight and drain down, and I'm going to see if I can get in there and clean it out somehow. Would you look at that? Worked pretty dang good for whatever, probably 3 or 4 hours worth of work. I love it. Exactly. This fits exactly in the things I like. Really old, but still very useful. I guess the video's over. I appreciate y'all watching. Like, share, subscribe, and all the good things. And I got a couple of more machine shop. We got to fix a gear. And it's over here. I want to try to fix this gear. And got some more parts and tools. I got some cheap Chinese vices and some stuff coming. Trying to clean this place up and make something out of it. Appreciate y'all watching. Catch you on the next one. All right, so this is like a week later, but I have done some research and I believe that I have dated this motor to 46 through some serial numbers and some research. So anyway, I bet this thing is probably a 46 model.